How's it going, guys? Good to see you. You all look beautiful today. We got Sarah back for day two, which is great. And Rodney, I remember a few of you all from yesterday. Kevin Neal, I think that's what KD Neal. I remember Kevin. He used to work with a client of mine named Odell, so I know Kevin. It's good to see a lot of you guys from yesterday. Don Lee, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Can you hear me? Oh, you put it in the chat. Atlanta. Okay. All right. I didn't know if you're going to come on live. So, to kind of set some ground rules, this is going to be pretty interactive, guys. I'm not going to come up here and preach to you all day. People will let you know from yesterday that I am a big fan of having you on, letting you ask your questions live. I'm not afraid of you stomping me and making me look foolish. I don't think that would happen because I've been doing this for a long time. I've heard every question that could ever be asked. Um, Before we start, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that any comments or questions that I address or the way that I address it, it's never to embarrass you. Okay. So I don't want anyone to feel like I'm talking down to them or anything like that. That's not the case. Donnelly may be a super duper advanced speaker, right? But I don't know that. So I have to address the question for Donnelly or for Rodney as if everybody in the audience, so that it applies to everyone from the beginning speaker all the way up to the most advanced speaker. So if I answer your question in a kind of a elementary way, it's not because I'm just answering it for you. I'm usually going to try to answer it on the elementary value, the median level speaker, and for the advanced level speaker. Because I think that if we go into it with that mindset and that framework, nobody gets offended, everybody's happy, everybody understands that the session is to help you, but it's not only you in the session. There are other people in the session that we have to address also. Is that fair? Is that good groundwork? Also, feel free to ask whatever questions you have. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm going to always try to give you my honest opinion that is backed by data. Okay? So, I don't do a bunch of stuff where I guess. You'll never hear me say that. I would rather say I know than I guess, right? Oh, I don't know, then I guess, right? I don't know that. I'll find out. Versus, I think we're going to give you data back stuff that's done by the based on the results that we've gotten for past clients. So I'm going to get into it. Feel free to add your questions into the chat box below. Every day this week, we're giving out a free 1 year of Speaker Hub Pro to the person who asked the best questions. The winner yesterday was someone by the name of Maiden. I don't have her last name, so I have to look her up. But I know she's a Speaker Hub customer because we only invited the 61,000 Speaker Hub users to this event. So you're here because you already have a Speaker Hub profile or someone with the Speaker Hub profile invited you in, right? So this is a friends and family thing. It's not really for the outsiders, but if you're here, you're friends, right? If you have a Speaker Hub account, you're family. So this is our little private barbecue, get together, family reunion where it's just us and we can talk speaker stuff. Does that make sense? Right. So we're not trying to convince people to become speakers on this talk or in this summit. We're trying to make better speakers. We're trying to turn speakers into better business owners. Right. Because a lot of y'all are really good on stage, but you don't understand the fundamentals of how the business works off stage. So I wanted to bring 36 of my friends on to talk about that. Is that fair? So that's what the summit's about. So let's go ahead and get into it. Are there any questions before we start about inbound leads or about the session from yesterday? Anything of that sort? Because once I get to going, I'm going to get going. I'll stop every once in a while to bring you all in, but I want to just kind of open it up to you all to ask any questions that you may have so that I can make sure that they're being addressed while we're going through. Is that fair? Rodney, what was your feedback on the session yesterday? You were there yesterday.
Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. Spending a lot of time in the corporate world and making this transition over the past couple of years to being a consultant and now pushing more to be a speaker so that I can filter leads into my consulting and coaching business. I'm finding that a lot of the training that I got in the corporate world is useful, but there's a lot of it that I did not get. And that is the practicality, that's the processes, that's the format. And I also know, learned from another mastermind group, there are three things that you need to be successful. And I failed. I'm not going to say I failed. I kind
You're
of fell,
learning them. You're
yeah, I
learning
fell
them.
down because I didn't have these three C's. It was clarity, it was community, and it was consistency. Because I didn't have the clarity and because I didn't have the community, it was impossible for me to be consistent at what I needed to do. And what I found is that being a part of the community, which is so important, you have to have people that are 3 to 5 steps ahead of you so that they can feed you in certain areas that you don't have the knowledge in. And it's important to have people in that community that are 3 to 5 steps behind you in certain areas so that you can teach and grow because they give you fulfillment and they build your confidence. And so
That's a
now
big
when I
deal.
look at memberships and I look at groups, man, for me, it's all about finding those groups that have people that are 3 to 5 steps ahead of me in certain areas and 3 to 5 steps behind me in certain areas. And so this group, thank you for inviting me to this conference because it's feeding me in that way. It's feeding me in a lot of areas. And so just to give you some specifics, man, just the information about the flywheel, there are components of that I had not even considered. There are areas in there that I looked at and okay, well, I did this and did this, but I made this mistake here, or I didn't position this way when it came to selling myself to a possible organizer, right? Doing it the right way. And so, because there's a lot of differentiations again between the skill set that I have, for many, many years and where I'm going now. But so community is important, man, and the knowledge that you're dropping, and not just within the session yesterday live where we got to ask questions and interact, but the speakers, man, I'm getting so many gems from the speakers that you invited to this thing. So I just want to thank you, Ron, for doing this, man. And I'm a fan, and you'll see me around, buddy.
No,
now that I know who you are and we're connected, you'll see me around.
that's good. No, no, that's great feedback. And that was the goal, right? The goal was to bring on speakers who were doing it, not those who were thinking about doing it, but those who were actually doing it and letting them share, if I can get this thing right, letting them share their opinions without trying to pitch you on something. I think we go to a lot of seminars and it's 15 minutes information, 45 minutes pitch. And I'm like, dude, I hate these. I'm like, I'll never put on any of those, right? So I particularly told people, I said, look, it's going to be 45 minutes of you just giving value. If you want to give them something for free, go download it. But we'll make it where they can download it, but don't pitch. If you pitch, we're going to cut it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of these guys are my clients and my friends, so they weren't on that. They respected me and know what we were trying to do. So let's get into it. Thanks for the feedback, Rodney. I know Sarah, you were there yesterday. Let's get your perspective. I know you were on with us yesterday, also, right? Were you in the live session yesterday? Yeah, Sarah Holcroft. No, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, maybe she's on another call. My
Hang
bad.
on. I tried, but I had I started and then I lost it. So I think I was sort of there and then I disappeared. Oh,
Oh no, that's because I thought we saw you yesterday. So,
yeah, I think you did. And then I went.
oh, well, we're
I
Wait,
happy
think
wait a
that
minute.
you're
Wait,
back.
wait.
I think that yeah, I think I think I had a bit of a
Hello?
problem.
We hear you now,
Hello?
Ron. You were frozen
Okay.
for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah, my internet went out for a moment. I apologize. Sorry. I live in Colombia, so sometimes I got to pedal faster on my internet bike to make the to make the internet work. you know, this internet down here is a bit spotty at best sometimes. So, but everybody's moving again. Everybody was
Yes,
frozen. I'm
we're
like,
back.
did I die? Like, did I just get raptured up out this joint? All right. So, Sarah, my bad. I thought you were on yesterday in our session.
I
Someone had a very
yeah, I was and then I wasn't.
uh,
I wasn't pedaling fast enough, obviously. And I disappeared. But I've been listening to the other ones today, apart from a couple when I was actually asleep.
Perfect.
because obviously I'm in the
From the
UK,
UK.
and I found them absolutely brilliant because there isn't this, like you say, there wasn't this great long pitch.
Yeah.
It was just really useful information, and I'm really enjoying it. It's the best summit I've been on.
That is
So
huge.
thank you.
Thank you so
Remember,
much.
I got to send you that $10 for saying that. You know, we paid her $10. She asked for 20, but we said we'll give you 10 if you just give us one good compliment. You know, no, thanks.
And Sarah, the replay from yesterday is up. So all the replays from yesterday are available if you missed it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen two of the ones when I was asleep, but I haven't seen the flywheel one yet.
Yep. So we're going to get into that. We're going to start with
you.
the flywheel just to bring people back up so that they know where we're going today. For those who are watching this, some of the sessions yesterday had bad audio on my side. We've gone in and fixed all of that audio. We are a firm believer that you can have bad video, but you can never have bad audio. And somehow a couple of files with bad audio were uploaded, but we got those fixed. So I apologize, but we're trying to figure this thing out. This is the first Pro Speaker Summit, and we didn't expect all of the people to be on. And but it's been great. So let's get into it. Let's get into what you came here for, which is how do you get consistent leads from inbound, right? So let's bring this up here. Let me bring up my presentation. Can you all see the flywheel here, right? So this is basically how to unlock consistent leads using the Speaker Flywheel Part 2. Yesterday was Part 1, right? So why should we even focus on inbound leads, right? Well, most people don't know what inbound leads are. So inbound leads are basically when someone is looking for you instead of you begging them. So that means that I'm sitting at home and the mailman drops off mail. Those are inbound leads when the mailman drops mail off at your house. Unless you order something from Amazon, you have no idea what's coming in the mail. Those are called inbound leads. Does that make sense? Now, imagine if the mailman dropped off 3 or 4 speaking gigs a month to your house. You would love that, right? So that's what we want to show you, how to make yourself available. So even if he doesn't drop off 3 to 4 every month, at least he should be dropping off some every once in a while, right? Some is better than none, right? So inbound leads are how do people find you, right? And they reach out to you based on you, the content you've created, and who you are. Now, why is this so powerful? Because it's free. It costs nothing, right? You don't have to pay for any software. You don't have to do anything. All you got to do is be really good at what you do and let people know that you do it. Does that make sense? Be really good at what you do and let people know that you do it. Now, this is huge because it reduces the need for cold outreach. So if you listen to any of the sessions from yesterday, whether it's Matthew, Lethea, Iman from this morning, they all started off doing outbound. Why? Because nobody knew them, right? They weren't very well known. But now they'll tell you, no, I get invited to stuff all the time. They didn't pitch me to be on this summit. Guess what? It was an inbound lead. I emailed them and I said, yo, you want to be on the summit? Why? Because I already knew what they did. Does that make sense? So once you get the momentum going in the flywheel, once it's moving, it starts to perpetually get stronger on its own. Does that make sense? So let's talk about this a little bit, right? I think my slides are in the wrong order, right? All right, here it is. So let me bring you all up to speed from yesterday, which are the 4 growth hacks. And we won't spend a lot of time on it. But the first growth hack we discussed yesterday, if you want to go back and watch the session, is proactively pitch the stages you want. The second thing is use one stage to get bigger stages. So you may start with a small group, use that video from that group in order to get bigger stages. The third growth hack is to learn to give profitable free speeches, right? Everybody wants to get paid to speak. I understand, but you should be able to get paid whether they pay you up front, pay you in the middle, or pay you afterwards. So pay you up front. They write you a check to show up like you're Beyonce. That's usually because you can sell tickets like Beyonce, right? They look at your following. I'll give you a great example. Someone had a podcast summit, and it's a really popular podcaster. And I don't do a lot of speaking, but I reached out to him and I said, hey, man, I would love to I have a software that helps people to get booked on podcasts. I would love to present there. And he was like, nah. I said, yo, you ever heard of Speaker Hub? He was like, yeah. I said, we got 115,000 people on our email list. We have the largest speaking group on LinkedIn, and we got 61,000 customers. All of a sudden, I can speak. He said, when you want to talk? Why? Because I had something I could bring to the table, right? All of a sudden, hey, yo, man, you wake up, you got 61,000 people. Why? Because he knew if I emailed that I was speaking at that summit to that 61,000 people, it was going to sell tickets. It was going to drive more tickets. So then that would justify him giving me time on stage, we were going to do a sponsorship exchange, right? So he was going to give me like $30,000 worth of sponsorships if I emailed it to our list, right? But we had too much stuff going on. We didn't do it. But I'm just showing you have to learn how to give profitable free speeches. Does that make sense? Because I had something to bring to the table, I was going to be able to make some money from that, right? So growth hack number 4, invest in the right tools and data sets. I can't say this more. Look, how many of y'all would love to work for me for free? Raise your hand. Let me stop this. How many of y'all want to come work for Speaker Hub for free? We're never going to pay you, but we're going to use all of your time, all of your resources and everything. And you're going to be underappreciated, right? But that's what customers do to us sometimes. Why you got to charge? So you want my people to work for free? How am I going to pay the staff if y'all don't buy the software? We can't give away the software. How am I going to pay the 37 people that work for us? How are we going to be able to put on these summits and get the speakers to come in if people don't buy the tools? So you don't have to use our tool, but don't ask for our tool for free. When we spend our life building it, but yet you want to get paid to speak. You want to use our stuff for free so that you can go get rich. No, we're not going to allow that, right? We're going to do a clear exchange of value. We're going to help you to get on stages to get paid, but you're going to pay us to help you. So, but buy the tool sets. If you don't like that, oh well, go somewhere else. You're probably not paying us anyway. But if you want our help, and we will help you better than anybody else, right? For a reasonable price, we will help you get on stages with our software. And whether you buy a profile, user-free profile, whatever, we're going to help you in an equal value exchange. And I think that that's really important because you're in a speaking business. This isn't a speaking job. This is a business where you need to have a marketing expense, operations expense. You need to make enough money to pay staff. You got to run it like a business because you're going to lose to the people who do. Everybody who's speaking at this summit, they're not working by themselves. They have people that are doing outbound outreach for them. They have staff attendants. They have all of that, right? That's why they get paid to speak. Does that make sense? So be willing to invest in yourself. It's not whether SpeakerHub is worth it. It's not whether some other tool is worth it. It's whether you're worth it. Are you worth spending this money on yourself to grow the mission and the message of your business? If you're not, oh well, you'll lose to everybody that we help. Because I'm going to make sure Rodney wins. I'm going to make sure Sarah wins. I'm going to make sure Janet wins. You know, if you're on this call, my job is to make sure that you win. But we can't do it for free because then the business dies and then it hurts everybody, right? So I wanted to take a message on that because I get that question in every session. Well, shouldn't it be free? Cool. Come work for us for free and we'll give you a free account. That's my deal. Come be a free intern with us. We'll give you unlimited pitches, but we're going to work you to death just like you're going to work our system to death, right? So is that a fair deal? Anybody who wants to be an intern for SpeakerHub, come on over. We'll give you a free SpeakerHub account, but we're going to get the value out of you, right? So I just want to establish that because we get asked that all the time. Give it to us for free. No. All right, so I probably lost a few friends, but that's okay because I'm not going to lose the business. We're going to stay in business and we're going to let those people go and be a burden to someone else. So Sarah asked about the speaker flywheel. This is the flywheel. And the flywheel consists of several parts. One part is inbound, which is what we're going to focus on today. How do you generate inbound leads, right? The second part is outbound, which is where we use SpeakerUp Pro to reach out to different people about booking you. But once you have inbound and outbound, what types of events are you reaching out to? Well, we believe you should be reaching out to podcasts, using those podcast interviews to turn into association speaking gigs, using those association speaking gigs to lead to higher paying conferences, and then using those conference appearances to build your thought leadership as a writer for large magazines, because that credential from Forbes, Fortune, Business Insider, or whatever magazine, Parents Magazine, CNET, whatever you write for, that'll allow you to boost up your speaking price a bit. So if Rodney and I both talk on leadership, but I'm a business columnist for Forbes, he could be way better than me at his speech, but I write for Forbes. So I'm probably going to get a little bit more attention than Rodney, just because I have that credential. Does that make sense? So we believe in the holistic approach to speaking, not just I do keynotes. No, you need some products to sell too, because when someone doesn't want to pay you up front, you can make the money on the back. So this is the flywheel, Sarah. Is this very clear before I move on? I know you had asked about it. It's logical, right? Cool. Any questions about the flywheel before we go forward? Because if you don't understand the flywheel, then this isn't going to make any sense at all. So, Ange, are there any questions in the chat about flywheel? No.
There aren't questions about the flywheel, but there's a question about someone. Alicia tried to sign up for a free trial.
Mm-hmm. And what happened?
She just had an issue with that. She said it didn't work.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll get that fixed. Send me a message privately and we'll get that fixed. Podcast where I got stumbled. I got good at getting on podcasts, 15, but I didn't know to ask about conferences. Yeah. So here's the thing. So there's a thing called the dog whistle that I think most speakers should learn to do, right? Now, what is a dog whistle? A dog whistle is something that you blow and nobody can hear it but the dogs. And this is why we call it that. So when I'm on a podcast, I say, we hosted this conference, or I spoke at this thing, or my consulting client did this, or in my course, we taught this. Now, it just sounds like I'm just telling a story about it, which the stories are true, right? But to the right person here, he do courses? Oh, he got Speaker Hub. He helped people get booked on podcasts. And you'll be surprised how many people heard that little dog whistle that appealed to them, and they reach out to you about it. But a lot of times we don't talk about all the other things that we have, so they never know. And they say, I didn't know that. Let me tell you how I arrived at. I was working with the client. This was years ago when I was a financial advisor. And he said, we would just help people with life insurance, investments, things of that sort. But this particular guy, he was a young dude. And I had no clue. Like, after we did the assessment, I just helped him with the one thing. He needed to get out of debt, right? So we helped him to pay off his debt, all of those things. A year later, I meet back with him for the review, and I said, man, how's it going? He said, oh, man, I got a new job. The job is great. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, so what'd you do with the 401k money that was at the old job? Oh, I rolled that over with Fidelity. What? And he said, I didn't even know you did that. My fault. Right? My fault. I didn't tell him. Why? Because I was focused on the debt. Right? So I missed out because I didn't give him the dog whistle. I didn't need to help him with that at that particular time because he didn't even know he was leaving the job. But he didn't know that I even offered 401k rollovers. Some people don't know that you offer courses and all these other things. And you say, well, I went on a podcast and nobody ever hit me up because they didn't know you spoke. They just thought you did a podcast interview. So learn to tell the right stories that put you in the right position to be known. Now, we always hear people work with people they know, like, and trust. Everybody on here is likable in one way or another, right? Most of you are trustworthy in one way or another. Most of you are unknown, though. We got two of them. We just got to get more known. So if you're already likable and you're trustworthy, dude, just tell more people about it. Get on more stages and tell more people about it. Is that fair? Right? So be sure to leave those dog whistles. just letting people know that you do this thing. All right. So that's the flywheel. So let's get into this inbound thing, right? Because this is what I like, right? So here's step one to generating inbound leads. Optimizing your online brand. That's it, right? You got to have an account on every platform. I hate TikTok. I'm not going to be on there doing all this, making dances. That ain't me, but I got a TikTok account. Why? Because I know somebody is looking for a speaker on TikTok. Some speaker is on TikTok and they say, Speaker Hub. Yep. So I ain't on there doing this. I'm probably on there with a microphone talking, but I'm on TikTok, right? So you got to be on all platforms, even if you're not comfortable with all platforms. Why? Learned another story. I was someone sent me a message and they said, "Hey, we heard you on a podcast, but we couldn't find your business." I'm like, what? I'm like, is my website down? Did you Google me? Said, yeah, I looked you up on Instagram. You had a page, but there was nothing on it. So I figured y'all weren't real. I'm like, oh. Yeah, let me hire somebody that's going to do this social media thing because I suck at this. Right? But I'm thinking that the first thing they do is go to Google. No, they went to Instagram. And I'm like, oh, we are screwed, right? Because we're not everywhere that the people that are looking for us are, right? So even if you just have a profile with some basic stuff, you got to be everywhere if you want to, you don't have to specialize in all of them, but at least have a page. Protect your name on each thing. Does that make sense? Right? What Greg say here? I'm on platforms, and trust me, it's like another job. Exactly. But they got some tools out there that you post once and it posted everywhere. But I'm terrible at this. Like my Instagram has my daughter on it. It's like her Instagram account because I'm just not that good at it. But we have one for the company that someone in the company, they do all of that because I'm like, I'm better on LinkedIn and I don't even talk on there. So, but be everywhere, right? I'm telling you from experience that I didn't dog whistle. So people didn't notify me when I was on podcasts. I didn't have a profile on Instagram and TikTok at first for the company, so they couldn't find us. So that's the first way. They're going to search for you. Be where they're going to be searching. Is that fair? Right? The second thing is present yourself as an expert, right? On Instagram, since I'm just on there with my daughter and my family most of the time, it's more of my private life. And I don't mind people seeing that part of me. I'm proud to be a dad. I'm proud to live around the country. I mean, live around the world in different countries. That's where I kind of show my personality. But on LinkedIn, it's all I get people booked on stages. I don't talk about anything else, but I get people booked on stages on Instagram. I mean on LinkedIn. Because that's where I send people. And at the end of all of my talks, I say, hey, look, follow me on LinkedIn. Right? Because they're less likely to be offended on LinkedIn. They may not like my goofy jokes on Instagram, but on LinkedIn, they can get me as an expert. They can see exactly what I'm doing, right? The other thing is use recommendations and endorsements. You'll be surprised. LinkedIn at the bottom, they have this thing that says recommendations, and most people don't even use them. Like send them to your 18,000 friends that you got and say, look, say something nice about me, bro. I'll say something nice about you. Then you get endorsements and recommendations. And the fourth thing is share relevant and regular content. Now, why is this important? You can do this on any platform. Everybody here is here because they have a Speaker Hub, regular Speaker Hub page, right? So, but I'm going to show you how you can do all of this on Speaker Hub without doing anything else. You want to, all four of these, I'm going to show you how you can do them all. We're going to use Sean. Sean Fair taught a great session about speaker packaging. And I love to talk about Sean because Sean understands how to show up. Deion Sanders said, if you look good, you play good. If you play good, you feel, no, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. This is the Deion Sanders of speaking, okay? I mean, he's going to have on a custom suit. His website's going to be nice. His videos, he going to look good. He going to show up the right way. He has a great session about how to show up as a speaker, even if you're a beginner, in order to make sure that people know that you're the best, right? So look what he put up at the top. Put all of his logos at the top, right? Got a great custom photo for our page, right? But what else did he do? There's recommendations. When we do a search, you see, we show up right at the top. So he's findable. When we search for him, we're above his LinkedIn, his YouTube, and his Instagram. That's how important your SpeakerHub page is, right? Even the free ones show up before those other things. Make sense? We want you to be found as a speaker first. The Leadership Experience Tour is his personal page, but right under that is his SpeakerHub page. That's in Google. Google did this. That's how highly Google thinks of your SpeakerHub profile. Now, he has profiles on our competitors too. They ain't up there. I'm not pooping on them. I'm just saying we figured this thing out. Make sense? Try it with yourself. Type in your name and type in speaker. I guarantee you we're on the first 3 to 4 spots for yourself, right? But in your SpeakerHub profile, you can get testimonials. A lot of y'all have done speaking gigs and never sent anyone onto your page to get to put a testimonial up there. Make sense? Guess what? You can give access to all your slides and past presentations with SpeakerHub. You can say, hey, put your name in and I'll send you and download the slideshow from whatever. He's doing that. You see that? He has his presentations there that people can download. Plus they can listen to or get a summary of his past talks. This is all on his SpeakerHub page. This isn't in anything else. This is in SpeakerHub, the free one. Okay? For all my people who want the free one. This is in the free one. Okay? He also put all of his speaker reels. Right? Does this make sense? So people can click. When they find him, they find his SpeakerHub page, they can watch the video of him speaking. They can show him in Budapest. They can show him at the Boston Coach. You notice how many speaker reels he got? That says videos. How many are in there? Rodney, yesterday, I mentioned you got to have more than one speaker reel, right? He has 15. 15 speaker reels. Okay? He has one on every topic. I'm going to show y'all in the room where I'm doing 8 people round groups. I'm getting interviewed by ABC. I'm going to look like a TEDx stage down here at the bottom. He's going to show up to make sure that he's buying what we call event planner insurance. Event planner insurance is whenever someone hires you, the event planner is putting their job on the line. And if Greg gets up there and says something off kilter, that event planner after that meeting has to justify how he ended up letting Greg get up there. Did you vet him? Did you look at anything? Did you know anything about Greg? Did you have any clue he would get up and say this? Right? So by giving them as much insurance up front, it makes them more likely to choose you over the person who only has one reel, over the person who's never done any press. Do you see what I mean? Because these bigger conferences, especially corporate conferences, they need corporate communication. So they may have their own film crew that's going to interview you about their annual conference. But if you've never done any media training, you're going to get on there rambling, and nobody, they're going to be like, dude, what is this dude talking about? Right? So it's important to get that stuff in place. Let's go to the comments real quick. That was powerful. I wish I could have stayed live. Yeah. Okay. Kyle, come back when you get a chance. With my topic, I have many questions with communications like that. Yep, that's perfect. Cool. So, do you see the value of having the SpeakerHub profile? You can do all the same things on LinkedIn. On your LinkedIn page, you should be able to put up videos and posts. It's just the same thing. SpeakerHub is the LinkedIn for speakers. That's basically all we are. We're LinkedIn that just focuses on speakers. So the same way you set up your LinkedIn profile, come and set up your SpeakerHub profile. Or if you think your SpeakerHub profile is better, do that over on LinkedIn, and that's how it generates. Make sense? Cool. So let me keep going here. Right? You notice he puts his press. He uses the flywheel. When I tell you my people use the flywheel, they do. You notice he got books and articles. That's media. Remember the podcast, local associations, conferences. Now you're seeing his media. You see he's doing it all. This flywheel is a real deal. Right? So that's the gist of it. Display your thought leadership and press coverage, all on your Speaker Hub profile and on whatever other profiles you have, LinkedIn in particular. People trust LinkedIn, right? That's why when you sign up for Speaker Hub Pro, we ask for the LinkedIn profile because we want to put that in your signature so that people can see that you have the goods. I want to go look and see. If you tell me you do AI and you don't have a degree in machine learning or something like that, I'm like, this person just knows ChatGPT. They're lying to me, right? Not saying that you may not have some other certifications, but I'm going to go look at your LinkedIn based on what we need at our company, because our AI people are real AI people. They're just not ChatGPT prompters, right? So if you say you have the goods in an area, be sure you have the goods, because word travels in this small community and event planners talk to each other. Right? Right. We're creating an event planner hub eventually where all of our event planners can come and talk about how good or bad you all were. Right. Because our goal is to get better speakers on better stages. And the event planners need to trust us with their information. Make sense? So, but that's in 6 months. You'll hear more about that in a little bit. Right. Step 2, post to build authority and drive leads. Right? How many of y'all have your own website? Right? Greg, right? Donley. All right. So if you're in the audience and you don't have your own website, that's not bad. Use your LinkedIn instead, right? If you in the audience and you have your own website, be sure to have someone that's a professional look over it. I've gone to a lot of websites that didn't look right on the phone. Well, that person ain't getting called back, right? Because it wasn't made to work on the phone. Or I looked at it on my computer and the thing kept moving. Every 5 seconds, there's a bunch of slides. I'm like, dude, I can't pay attention to this, right? So have your website be less annoying, right? But have one. Now, let me tell you why that's important. Yes, you can add Speaker Hub to your law firm page. You definitely can. And we will help you to do that, right? So what you want to do on your own page or on someone else's page, create valuable content and then post it on your socials, on LinkedIn, on your Speaker Hub page. Post that content. Why? Because Sarah, you ever bought shoes online? You have? Cool, right? Me, no. And I always like to ask people if they've done it. I never buy shoes online because shoes fit differently for me. If I got on Adidas, they're different. I'm a different size in Adidas than what I am in Nike, than what I am in dress shoes. So it's hard for me to buy them online without me trying them on. And I'm only talking about spending $100. Some of y'all want $5,000, $10,000. You think they don't want to try your butt on? They need to try you out first. So you got to give them some speaker reels and some content to let them know, yo, Greg got the goods. Donnelly has the goods. Kyle has the goods. So they want to try you out. Make sense? Because they're gonna go with the person that they trust that can deliver what they're trying to deliver, right? So be sure to post that content. Repurpose blog content on other platforms. That's what we talked about. But here's another thing that I think is most underused on Speaker Hub. And I'm going to show you this. And I wonder how many people are going to take advantage of it, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, right? So we have this thing called Skill Camp. Can you all see my screen or no? Uh-oh, Skill Camp is down. What the heck? Okay. All right. I'll just have to show it to you this way, right? So when we come in here, this was written by Nikolai Boldakov. He's one of our Speaker Hub users. If you really are a thought leader, submit an article to us. We post it. You see this? We post articles all the time. I ain't got time to write all these articles. Raquel put that one up. Let's see, what's this other one? This was done by me, but kind of me.
But
Our team wrote this. They just gave me credit for it. Huh?
But this is about one of our users.
Yeah, it's about one of our users, about Saran, who did a session yesterday. You should check out her session. But you notice you can submit articles to us on Skill Camp, even though this page looks terrible right now. I don't know what went wrong with this. Lauren Schloff, she's a Speaker Hub user. You notice Skill Camp is you guys submitting your articles. Now, why is that important? Because now you can put it in your Speaker Hub profile. Here's an article I wrote on my topic. So they don't even have to go look for you someplace else. They can check you out here. Is that fair? Now, I know what y'all going to say. Well, how many people come over to y'all site? Well, I'll show you. Let me go to Cloudflare and I'll show you. I don't want to show too much because I don't know who's going to try to hack our site. But I can show you that we get some pretty decent traffic. Real quick. Let me stop sharing and then I will show you our traffic in the last 24 hours was pretty decent. Analytics and logs. Let's see. All right, here we go. Here we go here. Because I think this is important. So people will see your stuff. You can see in the last 24 hours, we've had 21,000 individuals. They may have come back 4 or 5 times, but we had 21,000 people visit our site in the last 24 hours. In the last week, 98,000 have visited, 94,000 have visited, my bad, right? That's a lot of people, right? And they're coming because they're looking for speakers or they're looking for the articles that were written by our speakers. This is a really big opportunity for you guys. So you don't have to go and get accepted to guest blog someplace else. You at home, baby. Put it, share with us. We would love to promote our speakers. Why wouldn't we want you to get booked more? That's a better testimonial for us. It's better results for us, right? So we want to be able to post your articles to show you as a thought leader. Does that make sense? So just don't give us no crap out of ChatGPT. We check, we verify all the articles to make sure they're not ChatGPT'd. But if you got a decent article, record it with your voice, put it in the ChatGPT to turn it into an article so it's unique. But then give it to us and we'll post you, right? And then you can put that in your profile. That helps you to get inbound leads. 20,000 people a day are looking for something on our site. I'm gonna give you a quick trick. The best posts, most popular posts are quotes because every speaker is looking for quotes. So they say, hey, here are my top 5 quotes from my top 5 favorite speakers. That's a good post for our site. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to stop giving you all the tricks, but you can post on our site if you're looking for a place for guest posting, right? Part number 3, podcast as a thought leadership platform. You can start your own podcast, right? Start your own podcast and get close to the people you've always dreamed of working with, right? Invite them on. They're all, if you say, hey, can I spend 10 minutes and pick your brain? The worst question you could ever ask somebody, right? They'll say, no, you can't pick my brain. But if you say, yo, you want to come on my podcast so I can pick your brain? They say, yeah, come on. I'd love to come on your podcast. So it's all about the words you use, right? If you say, yo, I just want to pick your brain, kind of get some ideas, get free coaching. That's what they're saying. If you say, come on my podcast, they will give you free coaching. It's beautiful, right? You think I put this summit on for y'all? No, did it for me because I want to get better. So I figured I would interview all of my great speaker friends so that they can coach me for free, an hour at a time, right? But start your own podcast. Get on other people's podcasts. I think I've beat that horse to death. And then leverage those clips on social media, right? So that people can see, oh, you spoke at this Pro Speaker Summit. You did a TEDx talk like Rodney. I got a TEDx talk. Post that stuff. People see that. They look at you differently. You walk in a room, they like, yo, what up, Mr. Ted? You know? But leverage those podcasts and your YouTube videos for thought leadership. Post them on other platforms. Create a speaker reel. Right? Why do you need a speaker reel? Sarah, I just made the reference about shoes. Why do you need speaker reel? Tell us. Remind us. Because people want to try you out. You can unmute and talk if you want. Yep, because people want to try you out. They want to try you out. That's why you need a speaker reel. So where can you get a speaker reel made for $25? I'm going to show you. This is where you can go get a speaker reel made for $25. You can go to Fiverr and you type in speaker reel, right? And some of these people will say $100, right? But this one says 15. And this one says 10. And this one says 25. So depending on how much you want to invest in it, you can. Now, here's the funny thing. A lot of video people don't know what a speaker reel is. So if you just said video editing, right? That's going to bring up a whole nother set of people who may have never heard of a speaker reel, but they can do great video editing for you. For $5, $10, $15. You can say, I want the under 30 people. Boom. Got it? Make sense? So that's how you get your speaker reels. So we've invested thousands of dollars in courses, hundreds of dollars a month in software, and zero in making ourselves look professional. Go get some headshots. Go get some speaker reels made. It's the packaging. Sean covers that. Go listen to Sean's thing about that. It's all about packaging. You want people to try you out and feel good about what they're trying. All right? So Fiverr. You have no excuse to have crappy speaker reels anymore because Fiverr makes them for $20. Right? Post those speaker reels on those platforms. In LinkedIn, on Instagram, you can pin things to stay at the top so that it's always the first thing that people see. You know that? In your Instagram, you can pin posts to the top of your Instagram. So they'll always see those top 3 posts. In LinkedIn, you can do the same thing. On every page, you can pin those things to the top. In your speaker profile, you can move things around so that the things you want them to see are at the top. Got it? All right. Step number 5. Utilize testimonials and case studies. Again, use the testimonials and case studies. There's a lot of QR code companies out there that you could use for that. We have a great tool that we're redoing. Speaker Hub has had testimonials and lead gen for 17 years. I mean, since 2017, regarding how to collect these case studies and things. We're redoing that and reintroducing that so that when you capture a lead, it automatically goes into Speaker Hub Pro for you, right? So you'll just be able to use the AI to reach back out to them if they're interested in working with you, whether that's to buy your courses, to bring you in as a speaker or whatever, right? That's going to be a cool tool. I wish I'd have had Maria to come on and show it, but we'll send you an email about it when it's ready. But we've had this around since 2017, never really used it. So we're modernizing it to make it better for you guys, right? Number 6, optimize your website for lead gen. Now, that question earlier, who has a website? That was a trick question. So I want to volunteer. Who wants to volunteer that I can go and walk to their website? Greg, don't be shy now. I'm picking you. Put your website in the chat, Greg. I want to check you out. Oh, Dana. Oh, wait a minute. Dina beat him. We're going to use Dina. Let's go to Dina first. And then we're gonna come back to Craig. So let's go to Dina. Did I say your name right or is it Dana? I don't want to get into a fight. Okay. Her name is Yes. Because I said this and I said it right. All right, so let's go to Dana and then Craig. Oh, there's Maria.
Perfect.
Maybe
Perfect timing.
She may give us a free preview of the future thing we're working on. Right. All right. So beautiful professional shot. Great call. Great way to let us know what you do. The one thing we're missing is let's teach this really quickly. Right. So a website is kind of like a house, right? And when you the numbers on your house, like 2029, whatever your street address may be, that shouldn't be the biggest thing. If I came to your house and you got the big numbers on the side of your house in a 7-foot wide thing, I would be like, yo, this is kind of weird, right? So what I would do, just a little critique, I would move the Dana Patton up into the corner and in white. Because I know I typed it in, so I know I'm on your page. I just need to see your photo and a little indicator, right? And then the messaging is great, but where's my call to action? How do I try you out? I should be able to download something, right? So it should say like, click here to get a free whatever. Click here to do something. That's the only thing I would change, right? I would move the logo up and put something where I can download something from you, Dana. You got your testimonials there. Move these up, definitely. This goes up here, underneath here. Show me the familiar photos, the logos. I want to build trust right off the bat. Move these up. And Maria is a world-class designer on our team. And I'm not just saying it because she works for us. We stole her from a really big company, and she makes sure we're right on these things. I would move the social proof logos up and put a call to action so that somebody can try you out. You notice I've scrolled all the way through and you haven't offered me a glass of water or anything. If I came to your house and I knocked on the door, right? I'm at the right address because your logo's in the corner. You're going to say, hey, Ron, welcome to my house. Everybody on this call would say, hey, can I get you something to drink? That's the first thing every American asks when you get to their house. You didn't offer me a drink of water or anything. I can't click a button to give you my email address in exchange for a free download or anything. Now, let me tell you why that's important. Have you ever gone to a website and never went back to it? Is that your fault or is that the web developer's fault? Yeah, it's the developer's fault. Why? Because it's their responsibility to capture your information so that they can send you back. So they can send you emails and get you back in. It's not your responsibility to remember the 99,000 bookmarks you got. Make sense? So be sure right off the bat, offer them something. Right? Now, do we practice what we preach? Yes. Because this is all about inbound leads. You drive people to your site, but how do you capture a lead? Now, this is coming from a company that we capture 1,000 new users a month at SpeakerHub. 1,000 people sign up every month for SpeakerHub. So 30 to 40 people sign up on our page with no advertising, just from them showing up and our SEO. Now, on this first fold, what do you see? Try now for free. Try now for free. We already did it twice when you first get to the page, right? You scroll down a little bit, we show you a video, show you our social proof, right? And then we hit you with it again. We want you trying. Get started. Show you the flywheel. Get started. Show you a little bit more. Get started. You want the profile? Cool. You want data? Cool. We're gonna keep hitting you. This on one page. We got 15 calls to actions on one page. And they're all driving you to one thing: sign up. Right? Because you can try it for free. Make sense? You got to give them something, a reason to give you their information so that you can keep in contact with them. So, Dana, I would give you a 7 out of 10 because you're missing 3 things: logo in the corner, call to action, move the as seen in logos up higher so I can get that trust right off the bat. Is that fair? 7 out of 10 is really good because I'm really critical of these things. And but so I'm not beating you up. Just want to make sure. I don't want you to send me an email. Like, don't send me no email because you volunteered for this. Okay. All right. My free download and speaker page are in the tabs. Yeah, but when I visit your site, you're not there to tell me that. Is that a good point? When I visit your site, you're not there to say, what's over here? I'm on here by myself. Right? All right. So let's look at, let's go to Greg's. All right. Let's see, and let's share Greg. Where's my Zoom? All right. All right, Greg, right off the bat, he's showing himself speaking, which is really, really cool. Greg's biography, Greg's pictures, right? So here's what I would do. Greg, I think your website is great if it was 1992. Got to modernize it. Bring it up. And that's not a criticism. It's just telling you the facts. If someone had to choose between who they trusted to be up to date with everything, and you probably get a lot of great stuff. I'm just giving you my opinion from a web design side. There's no call to action. Everything is moving. $50 on Fiverr will fix this because you got to build trust. This is the first impression that the person is going to get of you when they Google search you. Again, Greg, I know karate, so I don't want to fight with you. What I'm saying is modernize it just a little bit. You have all the right stuff. Great photos of you speaking, all of those things. I can't click those, right? And it's moving. I don't have time to read it because it's going to switch on me, right? So I would just modernize it a little bit. And how do you capture my leads? Right? If I come on here, where do I go to book you? How do I get more information about you? How do I try you out? I can click contact, but even on there, it's just more pictures. Does that make sense? All right. So, Greg, I don't want to fight. Just want to make sure. But we'll help you. Now, let me show you how we can help you. Right? There's this great thing called Fiverr. You can come over here and get someone just to redo a speaker landing page for you. And they can go to all the same links that you already have. I just want the first impression to be great. They can build a landing page for you for $50 and have all the same stuff. They'll just modernize what you have, right? Because that's the first impression. Websites are like clothing and homes. We've all been to someone's house and we're like, man, this is a nice house, but the furniture kind of off. And like, dude, that's the same thing. Like, man, he's a great speaker, but the furniture kind of off on the website. So you want to get a professional interior designer to look over that because that first impression is really, really, really important, right? Okay, but I have not much success on Fiverr before. Okay, hit me up. I got somebody that'll help you. I'll give you my person that will do it. That's from Fiverr. Make sense? So that way, because let me give you another thing. Guys, if I ever make a suggestion to you, it's because I'm willing to help you, right? So I don't believe in saying, well, you should do this. And then you say, well, help me. And I'm like, nope. No. Come on. I got you. I got you. I put my big foot out, my big mouth out there. Let me put my foot in it, right? So I'm going to help you, Greg. Send me a message. I will get you someone that can redo your site. Why? Because the world needs to hear your message. Right? And wouldn't it be a shame if you missed out on some gigs because the person didn't know how to contact you from your site? Right? So we're talking about inbound. This is all inbound. So if you're listening and you're like, well, where is he critiquing his website? Because that's where the inbound leads are generated. Right? So make sure you have a hire me page. You need those lead capture forms and write some blog posts or things on your own site to show your thought leadership that rank for speaking topics. Does that make sense? Number 7, collaborate with industry partners, joint ventures and partnerships, webinars, those things. That's why we did this summit. Put on your own event. If you're a thought leader, lead an event. You know, the great thing about me doing this event, none of y'all ever heard of me before now, most of you, right? But when you see me up with Les Brown, you see me with Matt Pollard, you see me with the NSA president, you see me with the Global Speaker Association president, they're like, well, he must be legit because why would these people endorse him or why would they even come on his thing if he was a con artist or something, right? So you want to make sure you're doing joint ventures with people that trust you and people you trust. Because now, guess what? Ross Bernstein, who did one of our talks, he shared our event on social. Right? Guess what? I went right on top of it. Hey, Ross, thanks for coming. Great session. Glad that you were able to come and share an hour with us. Right? Everybody who knows Ross now knows Ron. Right? So interview people that you respect. Create your own events. You ain't got to beg people to be on stage. Create your own. Create your own stages and make yourself look good. You're worthy of it. You can do it. You know how many conferences I put on before this one? 0. This is the first one we've ever done. Why? Because I was against it until Matthew said, Ron, what are you doing? You got the biggest speaking platform in the world and you're not telling people about it. And I said, well, Matt, you opened your mouth. Help me to do it. And he said, I will. I love you. I would love to help you to do this. Let me introduce you to some people that I think can be a great producer of it. So again, work with people who want to see you succeed. Let me say one thing real quick. I've never gotten hate or criticism from someone who was doing better than me. Let me say that again. I've never gotten hate or criticism from someone who was doing better than me. The people who are doing better than you always want to help you because they remember being you at some point. What does it look like for Les Brown to beat down on me? Dude, you're Les Brown. Why is the moon barking at the dog? Right? So find people that you know and respect and then ask them for help. They have no problem with helping you most of the time because they remember being you, Rodney. They remember being you, Donley. Because if the shoe were on the other foot, guess what? You remember you talked about community? What did you say? I need to be in a group where I can help people too. That's how they feel. Winners want to win. Is this fair? So put on your own events. Get the other winners that you know, those that you respect, that are better than you. Everybody who's speaking at this event is a better speaker than me. They've done more gigs than me. That's why I asked them to be there. None of them said, oh, no. No, they were like, dude, Ron, you're better at us at this other thing. And we need to work together somehow. Make sense? So collaborate with other people. If you don't remember anything else from this, collaboration. You want me to come on your podcast? Ask me. You want Ange to come on your podcast to talk about how she used to be dunking on fools as a professional basketball player? Ange is like 6'11", by the way. She you can't see it because she's sitting down. But Google her. She can dunk a basketball like really good.
I'm only 6'1".
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she tall. I'm 5'6", so everybody's 7 foot tall to me. I'm like, Ange, so you have to.
Sure.
But moral of the story is invite people. If you're in here right now and you got a podcast and you're not inviting somebody in this room to come on your podcast, shame on you, right? You know why you should be asking people here? Because you got the same mission. You got your missions aligned, your motives aligned. You're in the same room for a reason. If you're not inviting people out of the summit to come on your stuff, shame on you. We said we're not going to pitch you. We didn't say that you couldn't pitch. I'm just being real. Like, build your business. The world needs to hear your message. And I'm going on about this because I'm about to end, but record companies amplify a lot of negative stuff. The movie industry, they amplify a lot of negative stuff. There is no amplifier for speakers. All speakers have to do it on their own. Right? Now, let me give you a great analogy of this, right? When I was coming up, we had, let me show you, watch this. Let me show you this. Now, this is gonna, a lot of people think let's see. Right? So we had a component system. That's what we used to call it. And you had to have the CD player separate from the tape deck, right? Y'all remember these? No, this ain't even the best ones. What are the ones where you had to get like the JVC and you had to have like the CD player was separate from the tape deck, separate from the, hold on, in stand. I want the individual parts. I can't find it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Where it used to have like, you had to buy the CD player and then the amplifier and then the tape deck and then the record player was on top and it had all of that. That's like the music industry and the movie industry. They got all these specialist parts, right? This is what most speakers look like. They trying to do the amplifying, the magnifying, and the speaking all in this one little Bluetooth thing. And I'm like, how you going to compete? How are we going to combat all these negative messages? And this is all we fighting with. Is that fair? Right? So we want to be the amplifier that you plug your speaker self into to magnify your message. That's what Speaker Hub is. We ain't trying to be the Bluetooth speaker. We tired of y'all out here like this and don't nobody get to hear you. And you take all those great messages to the grave with you. No, not anymore. We're gonna change that. We're gonna help you to get those who are invested in themselves and invested in getting their messages out there. We're gonna help you to magnify those messages. So we've removed a lot of the excuses, right? Let me show you one last thing as we end this session. I always go long. I apologize. Let's see. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. I can't believe I was about to leave this. Run YouTube ads to your talks in your podcast. So you hear people say, oh man, I went on a podcast, I didn't get nothing. Maybe the podcast didn't have a large audience, but it cost a penny a view to get somebody to watch your video on YouTube. 1 penny. You can run ads to any YouTube video. Right? Now, let me tell you, what do you think the average watch length is of ads that I run for my own podcast on YouTube? You know how it says like skip now, you can skip the ad. What do you think my average watch time is on the podcast that I go on? I always take $20 and advertise all of my podcasts. What do you think the average watch time is? Who wants to guess? Whoever guessed the best, I'll give you something. 1 minute. That's one guess. What else? Nobody else? Cool, you won since you were the only one that participated.
No, there are more coming. Hold on, there's more.
I'm about to say,
Just a delay.
Yeah, these people take too long.
Yeah, I have like 2 seconds.
Yeah, like you know me, man. I'm like, look, come on. Right? 22 minutes. 22 minutes. That's how good YouTube is at putting your ads on top of similar content. You know how many people hit me up and say, I saw you on Earn Your Leisure. I was never on Earn Your Leisure. But my podcast ran before their videos. And they didn't click skip. And since it was a podcast, they was like, we saw you on there. No, you didn't. You saw me on an ad that ran on top of an Earn Your Leisure video. Right? So they think they saw you on a certain podcast, but in reality, they saw your interview with someone else on that channel, and they didn't click skip. Does that make sense? But you get the views. Now, watch this. Let me tell you, because again, I say if I'm going to tell you about it, I should be able to show you. Let's go into LinkedIn. Inbound leads, right? Let's go here. And let's type in YouTube. Right? So, what did Alicia say? Ron, I saw your training on Chantel's YouTube. Yeah, that was an ad, but it was we still read it. Right? It was also, you can run ads to videos of other people's channels. Right? Rebecca, she took a picture of it. Hey, I stumbled on your YouTube video. Really great. Yeah, ad. Make sense? But they don't know it. Right? Let's see. Raquel. Hey, I just watched this YouTube about how to get LinkedIn and paid speaking gigs. Yep. Flywheel's working. Where did they reach out to me back at? On LinkedIn. You notice I tell you my call to action is always follow me on LinkedIn. I get these. That's what all these are. Deontay Bird, same thing. Hey, hope this finds you well. Same stuff. They saw me on, that's somebody advertising their thing. I don't know. Some of these people are advertising stuff. Hey, some of your training on Mwale's channel. Again, I know how to generate inbound leads from podcast guesting and YouTube. Run ads to your YouTube videos. Who cares whether the host doesn't have enough downloads? For $10, you can get 1,000 people to see it. 1,000 people that you chose. Remember, you get to do the targeting on the ad. So who cares who their audience is? Send it to your audience. Got it? All right. Let me go back and we'll close out. We'll open up for questions. Email list. This is what I was hammering on you guys about. You got to have a way to collect the email list. When I go to your page, you should be giving me something in exchange for an email so that I can follow up, so that you can follow up with me and bring me back and bring me into your world, right? If you're not collecting email addresses, shame on you, right? You got to be able to collect them. Make sense? Right. So, I'm going to put myself out there. Let's go. I got a page, Ron Story Jr. You come, you see my address thing. Oh, that's my calendar. I don't want that. That's where people book me. Right? There it is. You come, you see my address bars in the corner. I get straight to the point. It's me. I'm a direct. I ain't got a lot of stories, I'm going to tell you. Right? Get started. Show my social proof, the podcast I've been on. I introduce myself. This is the way I can help you. These are my companies. Here's all of my stuff, my social media, whatever. But guess what? I want you to set up a time to talk. Hop on a call. Let's do an intro. Let's put some faces with the names. Make sense? I live this. Now, even though I have this, what do I send people? To LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn works on everybody's phone. LinkedIn, they know how to DM me right then and there. Right? LinkedIn, we can add as friends and we can do it. They can look through all of my stuff. I send them to LinkedIn first. They can come over here afterwards, but I want them to go to LinkedIn first. Right?
Ron, Greg has a question. He
Yeah,
asked,
go
do
ahead.
you put your topics on your page?
On
Do you
my
put your
webpage or on my,
Yes.
yeah, let me show you. On my webpage,
Your topics.
these are my topics. Right?
But
How
you're
can
not
I
a
help you?
speaker. Yeah.
Right? But it's the same thing. How can I help
Yep.
you? Leadership, sales, whatever. Right? Put them there. My other topics, done for you outreach. I need to change this to Speaker Hub, right?
Yes.
But that's it. Like, show people how you can help them. They can read between the lines. Put your topics there. Show them how you can help. I'm not a speaker, but I still, if someone calls me, I'm going to come speak. Make sense? But you got to make yourself available. Right? When they fill out this thing, we capturing all their stuff. Someone fills this out, we get name, email address, phone number. We text messaging them. We following up, everything. Got it? You notice I ain't got 15,000 pages. Ain't no links. I'm pushing them one direction. Get in contact with me. Right? I'm relationship first. Right? Any questions? Because that's the end of my talk. We can open it up for Q&A.
Ron, when you talk about the one thing that I think is that you talk about often is about being an expert on a topic versus calling yourself a speaker. You don't call yourself a speaker, but you will go speak about these various topics. There's a clear distinction.
Yep. So what I see a lot is you say, hey, what do you do? Right? And the person can't tell you in one sentence what they do. As a speaker, that's a red flag because it shows that you haven't even thought through your own stuff personally. So how thorough are you on the topic? Can you be concise on your topic? Right? So here's what I do really quickly, and I'll get into what Angela's talking about. People are looking for experts. And the reason why they're looking for experts is because they've been fooled by people before. So they're saying, look, do you have the data to back up what you're talking about? Like, don't come in here and tell us a bunch of theories. We're not bringing in a 17-year-old life coach to talk to a bunch of 45-year-old people about parenting. I mean, we're just not doing that, right? I don't need someone who doesn't have kids to tell me how to raise my kids. Shut up, right? So as long as you have the goods, you should be able to talk about what you do. So I help people to do this. I help such and such to do this. You can put speaker, nothing wrong with that, but focus on the outcomes that you deliver. Does that make sense? Focus on the outcomes that you deliver, because that's why we're bringing you in. Got it? We're bringing you in because of what you can do. Can you accelerate the mission of our conference? Can you accelerate the mission of our organization? Can you help my audience on this podcast? Right? Because, motivation is great, but if you put motivation with substance, oh, dude, you're killer. Right? How many people have heard people, a college professor that had all the substance and you didn't want to hear them? Yeah. How many people have heard the person get you all riled up? You're like, I'm excited, but about what? You're like, yeah, let's go get, who are we going to get? Like nobody wants that, right? You got to put them together. Stan does a great job as Stan Pearson. He teaches on the 3 E's, right? And you got to go watch his talk. All right? I think I remember the 3 E's. He said you need to engage, entertain, and educate. If you do those 3 things. Now, Stan is the master of inbound leads. We didn't talk about it in this thing. He has some speaking gigs he's done 10 years in a row because of the relationships with the event planners. Right? So he's a great example of how he uses outbound to get new stuff, but he cultivates the relationships he already has in order to get more. He does about 50 to 60 associations and college gigs a year. Right? So be sure to check out Stan's session. It's incredible. But you got to engage, entertain, and educate. Hopefully I did that with you guys today.
I just put the info about Stan's session in the chat. It was from yesterday, so the replay is available. You can watch that after you watch all the sessions today.
Cool. Any other questions? Again, we're giving away a free Speaker Up. This is easy today because there's only like 12 of y'all in here. So the probability goes up. Tomorrow's gonna be 3 people. Somebody's be like, give me my thing.
Someone's gonna get
right. So ask your questions. We'll open up the floor if for those who want to come on to ask. Alicia, you were here yesterday, right?
Yes. Thank you. Long day. A lot of great stuff, though. Thank you. This is awesome. I echo that. This is really a great event you're putting on. It's wonderful. So my question is, I am a speaker coach. I'm a speaker as well, and I don't speak on the same thing that I coach on. So, my website, I've got different things. I've done different variations, and I have 2 different websites, by the way. But how do we navigate that? I love the simplicity of yours, but how do I bring that into something where I'm a speaker, women's empowerment, leadership, and then I also do speaker coaching?
Yep. Send them to your LinkedIn. Send them to your speaker profile, because that focuses in on the things you want them to know about you. If you look at Sean, I'll show you. I'm going to show you how you can do this. But this is the reason why I say that it doesn't require you to have a new developer. Does that make sense? You ain't got to go to Fiverr and get a developer to do all this stuff. I can just go to Sean's page and watch how he does this. He does this so elegantly. And it's our fault because we built it, right? So you see, he has his 3 positions. He's a Forbes coach. He's the CEO of his own company, but he's also on the board for the University of Phoenix. He has his achievements and his degrees. But you see here, he has 2 bios. Bio 1, and then he has the leadership bio. And then he can put other bios here. So people can see different topics that he talks on. He has his different presentations. He has his past talks that he's done. He gives you video reels of those talks. There's his one sheet. There's the press information. There's a slideshow you can download. He shows himself speaking in all types of atmospheres. So if you got an event that's going to be on a big stage like this, you got proof he's been on that stage before. He's comfortable there. If you got a room with a bunch of rounds and it's a corporate meeting, guess what? He's done that. What's another thing that's communicated from this? I don't even think there's any guys in his room. So he's done a women's summit before and he's accepted without, he's an ally. He's not, going in and being crazy. They trusted him enough to come in, right? So he's been on the radio. You see this? All of these things build trust along the way. You can do this just with your Speaker Up profile or LinkedIn. You don't have to get a web designer or anything, right? So, Alicia, you have a speaker profile already, right?
I do.
Right? There you go. Expert, your expert speaking experience. This is you, right?
It's me.
Okay. All right. So you got to get your HTTPS because it's saying that that's not up on your site for some reason, right? But let's just go. You got your Facebook, you got your
I
Twitter.
put the links in the chat though too.
Okay, let me see. I want to check it out.
Oh, the HT.
Yeah.
Did you put your link in the chat?
I just copy and pasted,
Oh,
so it's at the
it's your
very.
Kajabi page. Yes, you got to do a redirect to your Kajabi because you see what pops up first. What pops up first is the www. You need to have your web developer do a redirect on that.
Yeah, that I've had issues with that the past few months. They fix it and then it. Okay, I'll work on it.
So, but yeah, I mean, again, I would use if you have multiple topics, I would use the Speaker Up page or the LinkedIn page because there's a lot of things, and I'm red green colorblind, so the red stuff at the top is hard for me to see, right? So you got to be careful with dark backgrounds. That's why you see the biggest sites are always a white background with dark letters because people with colorblind like me can still see black and white. Make sense?
Yes.
So just little small things. That's why I say go on Fiverr, find someone for $40 to $100. They will be the interior designer for your website. It's the first impression that people get of you. You got the social proof photos, you got the videos, right? You just got to make it a little easier for us to navigate and to find you. And you can put all these photos and videos on your LinkedIn or your Speaker Up site. Make sense?
Thank you.
But hopefully that was helpful. If it wasn't, let me know. Any other questions?
Yeah, Ron. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Dina, you can ask. I don't.
Yeah, unmute.
Dina has.
Don't be trying to be shy, Dina. She don't want to say that.
Sarah has a question.
I'll go then.
Where's Sarah?
You talked a lot.
Oh, Dina was just adding a comment. Go ahead, Rodney.
Oh, I was just going to say, you talked a lot about the running the ads of your podcast on YouTube. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Did you take clips of it and then
the whole thing,
reel or the whole thing?
No, you take the whole thing.
Okay.
Let me show you.
Because I've done a bunch of. I've done, like I said.
No. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the trick.
Okay.
So I come in here and I type in Ron's story, right? I think I can't spell my name. Right. So this is a new one that came out a month ago. I didn't even know this was up, right? But a lot of people whose podcast you go and they post the videos. Okay, so here's the same one. This is just the audio version, right? And this is me with Anika, right? And different people here. But all you do when you go into YouTube, we need to run some ads to these. All you do when you come in is they ask, enter the YouTube URL that you want to run the ads to of the video.
Okay.
And once you do that, it loads that video and you run the ad to it.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't have any on my channel. I ain't got no podcast. I got how-to videos for the stuff inside of our software, but I don't have any podcasts. All right. But you saw people say they found me on YouTube.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's from the ads of the person who runs the podcast. They put the video up there, and then I take that URL and run ads to that URL.
Ah, okay. I got it now. It's crystal clear. Yeah, because I can definitely repurpose those things. Because
just go find them. I mean, what YouTuber is going to say, man, don't be running ads to my stuff? None.
Right.
They never going to say that. They always going to be like, dude, I don't care. You want to get more people to watch your stuff? Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it.
I forgot I went on this show with Robert Plank. I've done so many freaking podcasts. I don't even remember.
A lot.
Yeah, this is another one. This is my son was a guest star on this one. He comes in here asking for lemonade. He banged on the door for 10 minutes.
He's relentless. Paul does not play.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Ask your questions in the chat, please, or hop on live. We analyze all the
Sarah.
questions at the end, and we're going to give someone who was here a 1 year free speaker.
Sarah said, I'm new to pro speaking, so I don't have a speaker reel yet. What's the best way for me to get up and running? I'm creating a speaker coach website at the moment, so I've changed my LinkedIn profile slightly.
All right, so I'm going to pick on Rodney. Rodney, you get to be the teacher.
Okay.
Sarah's a new speaker. According to the speaker flywheel, what should she go on first?
The first thing I would do if I was Sarah is that I would probably work on my LinkedIn page. I would probably build a landing page. And then I would look at generating inbound traffic to those pages.
Okay. But she doesn't have any, so I'll hop in and I'll help. Right. Okay. That's great. But I think her question was more around, she doesn't have any
video footage or pictures.
She don't have any video footage or anything.
Okay.
Right?
Here's what I would do. Let me.
Okay. You want to try again?
Yeah.
Because we about to gong you off of here, bro.
Okay. So the first thing I would do is I would reach out to some local businesses. I would reach out to local communities. I would go to the Chamber of Commerce in my local area, and I would see if there's an opportunity to get on, like, even a small stage, like the Lions Club. And then I would hire someone from Fiverr to come in and take videos and photos. You taught me that yesterday, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I would have them put all of that information together, and I would use that to start my speaker reel and my photos and my website and all of that stuff.
That's it. That is it. That is it. So no, that was better. That was a lot better. That was a lot better. Right. That was good. I wanted to make sure, man. You coming to all these sessions. I got to make sure you remembering it.
Man, look, I'm hiring someone for my TEDx. I'm hiring a photographer for my TEDx speech now because of what you said yesterday.
That's a big deal. No, dude, you're on it. I wouldn't have called on you if I didn't think you had the answer. Right. So let me give a little bit of perspective for everybody, no matter what stage you're in. Right. So these are our 3 levels of speakers. We have emerging, experienced, and expert. Right. And our emerging speakers, these are those who are just starting out. They're just getting on stages. They're trying to build their portfolio. Right. So this is how we think you should use the speaker flywheel. I would go a step before and get on more podcasts, because now I can use those podcasts to send to those associations like Rodney was talking about, so that they can hear me talking about my topic. Right. So the podcast allows the Lions Club and the Rotary to try me out before they bring me in. That makes my pitch a lot easier. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then I would use those and I would send them to that association. When I go to the association, you can hire someone to come in and do the videos like Rodney, or you can get your son, your nephew. You can set up a tripod on your own and just sit a camera there. You just want to make sure that you get some video at that free gig. Does that make sense? Because you only need a minute. So you film yourself an hour walking around, talking. They're going to get all these different angles. They're going to cut it, put some music over it. You're going to do a voiceover. You got a speaker reel. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Now, let me tell you what I do. I tell my little nephew to come, and I say, look, you keep this camera pointed on me now. Don't you turn it around and show us only 3 people in the room. Don't you turn that camera around, we're going to have a problem. I don't need them to see only 3 people showed up. Okay. So just make me look good, and I'm going to stop every once in a while so you can take some photos of me. But don't you turn this camera around. Right? So that's part of the flywheel. If you're emerging, you should be doing podcasts to get good at answering questions, so that if you open up your association meeting like I did today to Q&A, you're never going to be caught off guard. You guys should feel that I've given this talk 100 times. Why? Because I've given it 300 times, right? Because I've done it a lot. The same talk over and over and over, right? Here's the other thing. Don't write a new speech for every gig. Give the same talk. That's why it's called the signature speech. Les is going to come on tomorrow, and he's going to give a very similar version of the same talk he's given for 50 years. He's going to talk about Mr. Butterball. And he's going to talk about being the dumb twin. I know he has mastered that talk, but he tailors that same talk to a new audience. So it won't be the same exact words, but it'll be the same stories because they still apply if the person has never heard it before.
Exactly.
A lot of times we don't need to be taught, we need to be reminded. Every time I hear that talk from Les, I get reminded of something that I missed. Everybody's read a book more than once and got something different the second time around. You know why? Because it's a different person reading the book the second time around. You've grown and changed since the first time you read that book. Does that make sense? Like when I used to hear things about people would tell kids jokes, like, don't nobody care about your kids until I had kids. Now I get all of those I hate my kid jokes. Totally get it now. I got a 2-year-old devil walking around my house. She is, oh man, she is, boy, oh man, she took my money today and hid it. You know, she took my pesos and hid them in the closet. I said, yo, where's my money? Escondido. What? Where? No, no. I'm like, hey, mama, you need to come get me. She hid them under the blankets in the linen closet. I would have never found those. I didn't even think she knew how to hide stuff so good, right? But what I'm saying, the point I'm making is give the same talk. Give a version of the same talk. You don't have to reinvent the things. Just apply it to that audience. So that's the emerging. Using SpeakerHub Pro, it should only take you about 15 minutes a day to secure 48 podcasts in a year and about 12 local association gigs. If you're an intermediate speaker, you add conferences to that speaker flywheel. Right? That's the only difference. You're still doing the same outreaches. You're just adding 5 more to conferences. And these are the bare minimums. If you're a really experienced speaker, you should be doing twice the amount as the average speaker and getting in more media, because this is how you make your living. That answer your question, Sarah? Perfect.
Yes,
right?
that's brilliant. Thank you very much for that. That's very very useful.
Yep. And let me show you really quickly one last thing while we're here. All right. I should have had John come and talk. I'm going to have John come speak at our next summit. John Lawson. Yeah, he was our first client on Done For You. I forgot to ask him. He speaks all over the world. Let's see. Let me in. Come on. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this, Sarah, really quickly. We're in overtime, guys. 37 minutes in overtime, like all the time. Right? Here's the branding kit. When you sign up for SpeakerHub Pro, you can get a trial. We write your bio for you just by you putting in your basic information. So you can see I can come over here. My company is called SpeakerHub, right? And what's my job? What do I do here? Booking agent, right? And then I help event planners to find great speakers for their events. I also help speakers to get booked on stage, right? So all I do is put in a basic description of what I do, and I hit save. And then the AI is going to write my bio for me, right? So if we give it about 15 seconds, it's going to rewrite this thing talking about I work with to put conflict on the back seat. That's going to go away, right? I'll give you a quick demo of this. Right? You see how I rewrote that? My passion lies in the intersection of events and inspiration. All that's new. That was written by AI right then. Right? It changed the name, my topics, event planning, speaker management. Now when I click on podcast, it automatically is You see how it's matching me with things that are related to speaking and event planning? All I do is I want to go on this one. I can come over. I can listen to the podcast to make sure, you can click play to listen to it. I can add it to a list. And once I click pitch here, it's saying I have no
You
pitches.
have no credit.
Yeah, I've used them all up. Yeah, this is the funny thing. Let me add some pitches to my own thing. All right, so that'll never happen again. All right. So I come back in, I click pitch, and what? How does I have no credits? How do I not have no credits? And this is my company. My old credit card getting rejected. You need to pay too. You talked about all that free. You don't get to use it for free either. Right? All right. So here it is. Sarah, in 15 seconds, you'll see is going to write a customized pitch based on that podcast and my profile. Right? So let's see. There it is. I'm Ron Story. All of that's done right then and there. Does that make sense? Now, what's the cool thing about it? Rodney, let's go. That's my part. Rodney said you should do what? Go talk at a Rotary Club. Boom. Type in Rotary. We got them. Right? You want to go talk at Toastmasters. We got them. We've removed the excuses. There's no reason for anybody not to be on stages anymore. You want to go talk at the Girl Scouts? We probably got them too. I hope we do. Oh, we do. We actually do. Look at that. Girls Inc. There you go. Right? So, but that's what's in the new Speaker Hub. Media, conferences, associations, podcasts. And you can even upload your own leads. Right? So I can upload lead list I bought from someplace else. Right? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Right? What's the cost of credits? Alicia, when you sign up, you get a pack of credits. And depending on how many you want, if you want extras, because I know some people aren't speaking all the time. So you have different demands for credits, right? So you can get 100 credits for $77. You can get 250 for 147. You can get 500 for 250. They never expire. So if you don't use them this month, you don't lose them. Does that make sense? But here's the great thing about it. Do you believe, let me ask you a simple question to everyone. Do you believe that if you reached out to 500 conferences, none of them will book you? Do you believe that? Does anybody believe that if they pitched 500 conferences that were in their target audience, that nobody would have a conversation with them? Exactly. Kim, I don't believe that either. Right? So that $250, you should be able to make back multiple times over. Yeah. Right? Make sense? The only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Right? So you got to do the work. Any other questions before we get out of here? I know I held you all long, but you all stayed. I didn't trap you.
Thank you.
You could have left at any point in time. So thanks for all the questions. Any other questions? I think I covered most of them. Less is tomorrow.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, we need more choir members. I like that. That's pretty cool. Bank charge more.
I was just going to say another valuable session. I took a boatload of notes as always. So thank you guys, man.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, this is great. I want to make sure, Alicia, what is bank or bark? What's that? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Bark is another speaker. It seems like this. where you can buy credits and then reach out to people who are looking for speakers. So if you're not familiar, it might be a direct competitor. You may want to look them up. Bark.
Yeah, I'll check them out. I've heard of Gig Salad, but I've never heard of Bark. But yeah, I'll check them out. I'm always interested. Anybody have any other suggestions? Send me a message of the companies. I don't want to give them free press on our thing, but they could buy a sponsorship. But anything else, if nobody else has any other questions, Kevin, good to see you again. Azini, we didn't get to you, but hopefully we added some value. Dana, thanks for your suggestions. Don't take my criticism of your site negatively. I give it a 7 out of 10, as I mentioned. Greg, I got to help you with your site. I remember my promise to you. I think those are the only promises I've made that I have to uphold. So thanks again, guys. This was exciting. Talk to you later.
See y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. The winner will be announced. We're going to announce the winners. We just got to keep y'all coming so that y'all keep showing up. All righty. Talk to you later.